Hi everybody, this is Agnes from No Sediment, and today let's talk about probably the most exciting winemaking region in France right now, Jura. Today, when people are looking for specialty wines with heart and soul rather than those produced by large corporations, and when the trend is towards authentic, indigenous grape varieties and terroir-driven wines with unique styles, Jura is your answer. Jura, however, is not just a fashion trend that we will explore for a while, only to move on to another one in the near future. I will try to say this only once because I dislike when people keep comparing wines with famous appellations such as Burgundy and Bordeaux. Yes, those wines are absolutely stunning, but they are not the benchmark of style and high-quality wine that every region should strive for. However, with Burgundy becoming so crazily expensive that even regional wines are sold at ultra-premium prices, it makes sense to start looking for other winemaking regions of interest. And Jura can also offer a great alternative to those who love Burgundy-style wines, but only at the fraction of price. And promise me you will not go too crazy because this is a tiny winemaking region. In fact, it is France's smallest wine district and none of us wants it to end up where Burgundy is heading price-wise. This tiny winemaking region, Jura, currently with less than 2,000 hectares under wine, is located almost parallel to Burgundy, nestled between this famous region and Switzerland. It is just around 80 kilometers from the northern part down to the south, making it possible to drive through the entire region in just about an hour. Like Burgundy, the climate here is continental, with hot and sunny summers and cold, harsh winters. Jura is still characterized as cool northern region when it comes to grape growing, so to reach full maturity, vineyards are mainly planted on the south and southwest facing slopes. The average elevation of the vineyards is similar to that of Burgundy, between 250 to 400 meters above sea level. What I find particularly fascinating, this region has a high percentage of vineyards that are worked sustainably, organically or biodynamically. Given the fact that average annual precipitation is well above 1,000 millimeters, I want to believe that this reflects genuine care, and it certainly must not come easy. Many people note the similarities between Jura and Burgundy, often citing this as one of the reasons why Jura offers a great alternative to Burgundy wines. However, few wine writers, including Vin Jaune, author of the book Jura Wines, which I will link below if you are interested, argued that there are actually very few similarities between the two. According to her, the landscape and thus the soil has formed completely differently here, and while the soil composition is similar to that of Burgundy with limestone and marl, it is marl that dominates in Jura rather than limestone as in Burgundy. There are 5 grape varieties allowed in Jura, 2 whites and 3 reds. The most important grape variety in Jura is Chardonnay, accounting for more than 40% of the production and plantings here. And according to Jean-François Bourdi from Domaine Bourdi, Chardonnay is the traditional grape variety as Sauvignon originally was used for Vin Jaune production. Chardonnay is used for still dry white wine, sparkling wine and sweet wine production here. Sauvignon, the other white grape variety allowed in Jura, is also known by the name Traminer. Interestingly, Gewürztraminer is aromatic pink skin mutation of Traminer. I find it fascinating because Sauvignon is known as a non-aromatic grape variety characterized mostly by fresh citrus notes and scorchingly high acidity, complete opposite of Gewürztraminer. I believe due to Sauvignon's ability to retain high acidity and its hardy nature, it will become more popular amongst winemakers in future. The red grape varieties are widely known and loved by many, Pinot Noir, and less discovered indigenous grape varieties, Trousseau and Pulsar. Pinot Noir is actually the least planted red grape variety in Jura, with Pulsar covering more hectares of wines, followed by Trousseau, which makes up slightly more than 10% of the total plantings. Pulsar is a historic grape variety to this region, though it is difficult to grow. It creates wines with not particularly deep color, but beautiful aromatics, provided it is not devastated by early spring frosts and the various diseases to which it is susceptible to. Trousseau is a grape that I have been excited for a while now. It is responsible for more powerful, fuller-bodied and more structured wines than Pulsar or Pinot Noir. And according to DNA testing, Trousseau is the same grape variety as Bastardo found in Spain and Portugal, so if you like those examples, you might also want to check out what Jura has to offer. One of the main reasons I find this region so exciting, both for wine professionals and everyday wine lovers, is that within this tiny area it offers every wine style imaginable. You will find wines of every color here, and I mean it: white, red, pink, and even yellow. They are dry and sweet wines as well as bottle-fermented sparkling wines. White wines made from Chardonnay and Sauvignon can vary greatly in style. Both grapes can be made in the traditional way with exposure to oxygen, where barrels are not topped fully up. This process leads to the formation of yeast film on the surface of the wine, giving it a slightly salty character. The highest expression of this style is Vin Jaune or yellow wine, and it must be made only from Sauvignon grape variety. As mentioned before, due to its elevated acidity, Sauvignon can withstand the long aging requirements, which must be at least 6 years for it to be labeled as Vin Jaune. Similar to Jerez, this yeast film cover protects wine from oxidation while also imparting some flavors. The style of Vin Jaune can vary greatly depending on the size of the huillage, the barrel, and the location where the wines are aged. To me, these wines usually have a preserved citrus fruit and fresh almond and hazelnut-driven nose, with hints of high-quality cigar layered with notes of dried seaweed. They are bone dry, and unlike Jerez, Vin Jaune is never fortified. However, it can develop high natural alcohol content due to evaporation. But there are also wines made in a more conventional way, locally referred to as Oyi. These wines may also be aged in oak barrels, but unlike the traditional style, they are constantly kept full without any air space. The styles range from light, floral, and fresh citrus fruit driven to fuller bodied with ripe yellow and white fruits. As mentioned before, pink wines of various shades are also made here, though I haven't tasted that much of this category to share an honest opinion. Personally, I find the red wines made from Pulsar, Trousseau, and Pinot Noir more exciting. These can be blended or made as monovarietal wines. Lighter in style, benefiting from slightly lower serving temperature or more structured and fuller in body. With Pulsar, I have noticed that opinions differ as not everyone appreciates its earthy character. Trousseau currently is my favorite pick from the reds of Jura, as it offers more structure and fuller mid-palate, while still retaining a beautiful balance between earthy, meaty characters and fruit flavors. Pinot Noir to me seems lighter in style than those from Burgundy, with a bit more of a rustic edge, but still charming and inviting. All of these styles I mentioned can be found under the Côte de Jura appellation. The famous Château Chalon appellation is reserved exclusively for the yellow wine, aged under the voile and made from the Sauvignon grape variety. Château Chalon and Vin Jaune all must be bottled in the uniquely and strangely shaped Clavellon bottle, which holds 0.62 liters. The bottle-fermented sparkling wines are usually made from Pinot Noir or Chardonnay grapes, but other allowed grape varieties in this region can also be used. There are light and zesty styles without age indication, as well as more ambitious styles with extended lees aging and no sugar additions. These wines can be found under the Crémant de Jura appellation. This category is made by almost every winemaker in the area and is an important part of their portfolio. Crémant de Jura can be made either white or pink, and I would argue that they offer great alternative to those Crémants from Burgundy. This region also offers sweet wine styles that are made from grapes dried after the harvest. Through this process, the grapes lose water, but the sugar and other components concentrates, creating wines with lusciously sweet palate while still maintaining acidity and naturally elevated alcohol content. These wines are known as vin de pays and can be made from any of the region's allowed grape varieties. They may be either blends or monovarietal wines. And despite what some guides might say, there is no fortified wine category made here in the traditional sense. However, fortification with grape spirit is a tradition, and this is how Vin de Jura is made. In this case, it is the grape juice that is fortified, not the wine. But since I am no expert in spirits, and that was the only exam I had to resit for my WSET diploma, we will not go further here. Wines from Jura might not be easy to find in every market, though availability is improving. The producers most well represented in export markets and offering great value are certainly Domaine André Mirel Tissot and Domaine Bourdy, with Bourdy offering particularly good value. Domaine Genevat and Emmanuel Houillon Pierre Auvernois might be harder to come by, even if you're willing to pay the market price. Let me know in the comments if you have ever tried wines from Jura, and if so, what is your opinion of them? And if you like this video, you might also want to watch this one next.